Okay, well, welcome everybody tonight to our monthly Heat team call. And I am Deb Rudloff. I'm so excited to be hosting Suzanne Edson. And I've been with the company for, geez, I don't know, 34 years now. So I've seen the entire journey with Juice Plus, and I've just been so thrilled to be with the company this long and all the wonderful people we get to meet and associate with. And one of them's going to be my guest tonight, Susanne Edson. And Suzanne has been a nurse for over 40 years, with the last 27 focusing on her career in the prevention field using Juice Plus as her base. Suzanne shares her wealth of nutrition knowledge and around the world for her team and the Juice Plus company. Suzanne has two adult daughters, one in Charlotte, North Carolina, and the other one is in Perth, Australia. Her passion and purpose is to help others become as healthy as they can be. So welcome, Suzanne.
Oh, thank you
Good to
so
see
much.
you. Yeah, yeah. So, we always like to start out by finding out, how did you hear about Juice Plus and what did it do for you when you took it?
Well, mine isn't a conventional start out, okay? So my husband, at that time, we were married and we had five kids between the two of us, and he had gone to a golf tournament. It was 1996, the Summer Olympics were in Atlanta. We lived in Atlanta. And met a woman that had a Juice Plus t-shirt on. And he said, "What is that?" And back then, it was like, 29 years ago, she just sold him a box of Juice Plus. And so he brought it home. And you guys, I didn't think 29 years ago you could get fruits and vegetables in a capsule.
Wow.
I said, there's no way that's going to work. But he
Like,
started taking it, and within 2 weeks, he started having more energy in the afternoon. He was an emergency room doctor. So that 2 o'clock lull kind of went away. So it made a huge difference for him. And so I thought, well, and this isn't really very nice. That's probably why I'm not married anymore. But I thought, I don't want him to get ahead of me. So I'm going to start taking that stuff. And so 29 years ago, but my kids, we were vegetarians, you guys, but still we had asthma, allergies, migraines, ADHD, even being vegetarians. But we had a lot of brown dinners, I say, macaroni and cheese pizza. And so this made a huge difference in all of those, diseases that the kids were experiencing. And, of course, we changed things. We didn't have soda in the house. Catherine Lee came through one time and we once a month changed everything. So along with the Juice Plus, it just made a huge difference for our family. But we took it. And so shall I just go on into my story of how I decided to share it?
Well, that was my next question. You took it, but when did you fall in love with the company behind it, the Juice Plus company?
Yeah. Okay, so we took it for about a year and a half. And I think one of the most important things I learned from that year and a half was the things that you can do to change your health to make things better, but also on the other side of this, to join the
hey,
business.
Suzanne, hang on one
Mhm.
second. I forgot to mute everybody. So I'm going to mute everybody and then you'll just unmute yourself.
Perfect.
Here we go.
So I think one of the most important things was that I found that Nancy Warner was my upline, and she called us once a month. We were on the product and we didn't want to be part of the business because, a lot of people, when you're a doctor and nurse, they want you to represent them. So you guys, we just didn't want to it's not that we were too cool, but we just didn't, we were so busy. We had five kids between the two of us, working full time, both of us. And it was a busy life. And so finally, after a year and a half, we said, okay, she's not stopping. We've got to go. So that was my takeaway from it when I came into the business, was that persistence that Nancy got us to a meeting. And who would it be but Dr. Du Bois was speaking in Atlanta. And by the end of his talk, on the back of our checkbook, I had names. But I'll tell you what, you guys, the reason I took a serious look at it, and I say I because, you know, husbands just, they do their thing and we just have to guide them. So I guided my husband into the business side of it. But I'm just, so that you know this, we had a huge house. We had a 7,000 square foot home. We had the cars, we had the kids, we had everything. And we lived paycheck to paycheck with credit card debt. And it was awful. It was not a settling feeling. And I felt like I knew I needed to do something, but I didn't have the vehicle. I didn't know how to make that extra money besides working extra shifts and being away from the kids. And I saw this as my opportunity for hope. And that was the main reason I started was I needed hope. And so I also learned from this too is that you don't know what goes on behind closed doors. We can't judge somebody by what they have or how they present themselves because we presented ourselves, well off and it wasn't real. So that's probably awful to even say, but I'm just telling you guys for that hope part to talk to people and know that you've got magic in your hands. You've got hope in your hands. You can give so much. And that's how I fell in love with it for that reason. And we worked hard and 2.5 years later we made it to national marketing director. But I couldn't have done it without, Sue Burdick was in Atlanta. She came to help us, she and Bob. And, there were just so many people. And Nikki Cotton, when we did walk the stage as NMDs, she talked to me about making sure of my position as NMD. And it changed my course of my life for me. So Nikki, I'll always be in debt to you for that. I mean, there's just people in your life, every one of you on here, that you will glean something from, and Deb will say something to you, and you'll hear it differently from me. So I just appreciate you guys having me on here to, tell my story because I just feel like it's so important this time in our lives of what we can give to people, not only medically, but, financially also.
That's so amazing that you talked about the tidbits that you get because that's how I was able to develop too. I mean, my upline was great, helping me a lot, but going out and meeting other people and attending events, and then they always taught us if you see somebody who's successful, go up and introduce yourself and get to know them. And it's so true that you can hear it the same thing from five other people, but then the sixth person that says the same thing, all of a sudden it hits you. And so that's one of the great reasons that we have such a great village that helps all of us.
That's right.
Yeah. So I also wanted to know how are you feeling about everything new that's been happening in the last couple of years? Like we have a new CEO and how do you feel all about how things are going with that?
I think we all have had our little are wondering about things, but I'm telling you, Travis Garza is amazing, and I feel confident with him leading us. And one of the things I can say about the new digital, the things that are going on, and I've learned this all along. Brian Marsh in Australia, my daughter lives in Australia, you guys, so I go over there for 3 or 4 months at a time. And so I'm in that group over there, and we help each other over there. But Brian Marsh is Australian and he is always like, train up. Don't say, this is awful. I can't figure it out. Figure it out. Take 10 minutes, take 15 minutes. What can you do tomorrow morning that puts you one step, 2 millimeter shift, just a 2 millimeter shift in your business, in your mind? Just do one thing, get on there and, look at your customers, follow up with your customers. So train up. And the other thing I think too is our own self-talk. I mean, we could say many things, I'm not good at this business. I used to say that because my husband would say, we're just not good at this business. And that got in my mind and my business started to suffer for it. And one of my friends said, you are great at this business. Why? So we need that village to tell us that we are great at this. And it changed everything. If I can just do that self-talk, I do affirmations every day. I have to. I have to have that feeling that I can do it and I need those words, So I just really believe in self-talk. And then I always have a plan. I always, like Sunday nights, Rachel Smart is like the best person at doing meeting on Sunday night and making a plan for the week. I am not that organized or disciplined. And I know that takes a lot. I mean, I'm just being truthful. You can make it in this business and be like me. So it's okay. But So I just feel like it's great to have a plan. I have to have a plan. And so I have just moved into a new area in Naples, Florida. I left Traverse City, Michigan, and so I love to have people like me, and so I really worry about what people will say. And you would think by now I would get over that, but truthfully, I have to slap my legs, just like one of the guys he always used to say, slap your legs and say, showtime. And so I do that. I have to do that. And I love it. So I've joined the water aerobics. I mean, I know there's 60, 70, 80-year-olds. I'm 60, so it's okay. And I'm getting customers that way. Because otherwise, if I didn't push myself to do things, just sit back and say, this isn't working. And I'd be thinking about Juice Plus all the time, but I wouldn't be working it. So I play cards on Tuesdays and Fridays. I golf every Wednesday and Saturday. And then I do my water aerobics Monday through Friday that I can. So I'm meeting those people that I did. They're all strangers to me, so I've been here a year and a half and I'm gone 4 months out of the year. So it's been really fun to meet people and I do love that part of it. I feel like I won't even go on.
Well, we all had kind of a thing when we all kind of had to shut down during COVID. And I'm the same way that when we come up for air and it's like, well, now we got to start things up again. We've got to get more momentum going. And so it's good to hear that you're doing things out there as well. Like it's, back in the trenches time,
Yeah.
which is actually a blessing because at our age, what other vehicle, if we needed to start all over tomorrow with something new, what else could we find that we could just slip into like this and, just make it our own and work around our own time and there's not that much out there for someone our age. And I feel very grateful to have had this business for all these years. And like
Yeah.
it creates kind of the steady income thing. And whether it's $500 a month or whatever amount it is, you can count on it. And I like to tell people, like, when I was raising my kids, it paid the bills. Well, now it's sort of a retirement income as well, because once you build it, it won't stop coming.
Right. I think that's really important too, Debbie, to remember that, we were 30s, we were in our 30s and 40s when we started. That's
Hmm.
what kids are, so my daughter just found out she was pregnant. Well, she's due in September, so I'll fly back over there for that. But guess what? Now she's looking at the business. So we're still attracting people. It doesn't matter if Nancy Warner was 64 when she signed me up. That girl never stopped. I mean, she's just had been
That's
amazing.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've been looking at things. Grandma Moses didn't start painting until she was 76 or something like
Yeah.
that. So,
Lucille Ball.
there's always room. But what I love is the idea that we can go to someone like I was like 42 when, Juice Plus came out. And, I was dissatisfied because my husband's income had taken a big hit because he was a fisherman. And then all of a sudden the Exxon Valdez thing happened and we didn't have any money. And so it was desperation time. And, this company actually provided me a vehicle that I could just stay home with the kids, not have to put them in daycare and go through that expense. And then my husband could do what he could do, but then I was able to build this up and it, was our safety net. And I think a lot of people are looking for a plan B or whatever you want to call it, just something on the side that they can create. And I think we have the timing is pretty good right now, I think, for attracting people like that. And plus, I feel like the price of produce is going to get so high that I don't see any foreseeable future of us raising our prices. So I think that we're going to have a good position to help people stay healthy and have a budget to do it with.
Yeah, I agree. I'm so thankful for that. And I just feel like, seriously, I'm thankful where I am, but I'm also thankful for the younger generation coming in because that solidifies us also for the future and for their future. So, yeah, so I really believe that. I believe we have to take accountability and plan. And I always say, like, once a day, do something that that you're not comfortable with. It doesn't give you an accolade or anything, but just do one thing. Make that phone call, get on back office and look up whatever you need. Just do one thing and push yourself. I mean, I know that we can get out and we talk to people and, remember Harriet Salzer always said, talk to two people a day. We used to have the cassette tapes. That's how old I am. The cassette tapes. And she'd put them in her pocket when she left the house and she had to give them away while she was out of the house. And if she came home with them in her pocket, she'd mail it. And so I think that's a good way to remind ourselves we should talk to two people a day. So I just feel that's, like that's a push. That's something that I'm not comfortable with. Maybe some people are really comfortable with talking 10. One of my teammates is Hazel Ramsbotham. She's 94. She talks to everybody. She's got the strongest POB leg on my team. She's amazing. And some of the girls on here are the same way. So I take it from them. I follow, my team is wonderful and I just appreciate them so much that we just work well together. We do our weekly calls together and like today we went on boards and or Monday we went on boards and we went through how to change it to your name. And so it's always a learning experience. And maybe I don't know how to do those things too, but why wouldn't I try? I mean,
Mhm.
be your best distributor, be yourself, be your best distributor, be the leader that you want to follow.
Exactly, exactly. And well, you can complain about technology and how I don't know how to do this or that, but if we keep learning how to do it, it's going to keep our brains sharper.
Yep,
And
train up.
it's people that stop learning that, we don't know if they're going to stay sharp the rest of their lives.
Right.
But yeah, well, do you have anything else you'd like to tell everybody?
I I I don't know if anybody has any. We were talking earlier, Robin, of like what, what's your driving force? What makes you do the things you do? What's your drawback? So I just think it's important for us to talk to our teams and find out their why. I know one of the girls on here, we talk about the why. And I know Nancy Warner talked to me about my why because I got to senior sales coordinator. And I was happy where I was because it was really hard to get to the Q and or to get Q and MD back then. And I said, no, I'm good right here. And she said, I thought you wanted to be home with those kids. Oh, I do, but so I
I
got
bet
back
that
out,
got you.
started doing more events and talking to more people, doing a Zoom call, helping others, and having that servant heart. You'll get ahead when you get that servant heart and do things for others. I just think that's really important. So yeah, so then we made it to NMD, but without, and I know that some people like Hazel's in Denver and she's like, I'm an orphan out here and I'm sorry. And Barb, I know you're on here. I'm sorry. I don't come out all the time. And so I know that we all have to take responsibility though where we are because my girls do. They're like, okay, so Barb joined at BNI. Barb's doing this. Hazel's doing that. So I know that we each have to take accountability for our own business and not say, I can't get on back office. Barb reached out to me today. How do I do that? Yeah. So that's what we're here for. And if they don't have a Suzanne, if they don't have a Nikki, they don't have a Debbie, Sandy, Heidi, you find somebody. I mean, they can go to Sue Burdick. So don't you ever have that as a complaint that you can't do the business. This is up to you. Jeff Roberti always says that if it's to be, it's up to me. Remind yourself of that. Quit feeling sorry for ourselves, I say. Do it. Just do it. Train up.
And it's worth it. I mean, when you get through the trenches and you do the work, and then you come out and you created what you created, you can look back and say that was really worth it, the hard work and the getting out of my comfort zone. I remember being terrified of the phone. And I was just shaking when I was a newspaper reporter. I was happy with the phone because I could call up anybody, like anybody that wanted to get their name in the papers, picking up the call from me, the
Yeah.
attorney general, whoever it was, and then when I'm on my own, I'm representing myself. It was terrifying in the beginning, but little by little, I used to always say, just you have this comfort zone. If you just stick your big toe out of it for a second, and if you do that and do that, pretty soon your circle gets wider and wider because it gets more comfortable every time you take that little step.
Yeah.
So,
That's what Lauren LaHoff says that a lot too, Debbie, is that a 2 millimeter shift. Push,
mhm.
push your foot out just a little bit and do a little bit more tomorrow, every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, and do it even if it's scary, just, try it. Just try it. Because somebody else in the beginning, they said, nobody ever got punched in the nose for offering to share some information with somebody. So it's not gonna, you're not gonna get physically assaulted, I hope. But I know we do self-talk but you're gonna feel so good about yourself once you do the things that, you should be doing.
I agree. I agree. And I just saw that somebody asked if I was near Panama City. I'm about 6 hours south. I'm in Naples, Florida, so I'm on the very west coast, straight across from Miami. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I think we have a little bit of time left if somebody wants to ask a question. Nikki, what do you think about questions?
And we can turn off the recording if you want to do a
I
question.
know, I think it's great. I'd love to have somebody, one question I do ask Suzanne, first of all, thanks for being on the call. Debbie, you're doing a great job of interviewing. It's your journalistic style. It's really fun. And you look really beautiful tonight, Suzanne. I love your
Oh,
hair. Your hair is different, looks great. Besides all that, what do you do when you do get in a slump and you feel like, you just can't quite get yourself motivated, and yet you know that if you get motivated, you can really make an impact? Is there any tricks that you have to pull yourself up and out? Because we have a lot of people that got a little bit waylaid by IT and shifts and things, and now they're like sitting in a plateau or a slump, either way. Is there, I know I'm catching you on the spot, but is there something that you do to to move yourself up and out?
well, I allow myself to feel sorry for myself for a little bit. I mean, not days, but no, I don't have that. I don't understand. I don't have that feeling of not being able to get out of it because I have the tools. Over the 27 years, the company has given us so many tools of brave leaders and all these things. So I know that I have to have words in front of me, and maybe it's, like, it's not real. Like, oh, so like here's some of the things I had from Lauren LaHave last week is order it up, be confident, be calm, posture yourself as a leader, rev up, get to the other side, it is done. And so those words, I have to have those words because I just I'm not a self-doer. I have to have those words to rev myself up. And I think that's important for all of us to have something that revs us up. And maybe it's our what is our goal in life? How do we want to help others? And so, we can do it in different ways, but my way right now really is getting back in the trenches and sharing Juice Plus and sharing the business because there's a lot of people that need our hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do
Does
you
any-
think?
Um, I'm a little bit like you. I don't really get into a slump per se, like I don't really get depressed or anything. But two things that something I took from you specifically is that having something ready to go, like you said, you have words, knowing that you've had other people that have helped you in the past, looking back on those things that have made you feel better. So whether it's words, whether it's affirmations, whether it's quote, or calling somebody up and actually saying, Suzanne, I'm stuck. Like, I'm stuck. Can you help me? And maybe you're asking me some questions. Maybe just a conversation can shift my mindset. So I think asking for help is a key piece. If you're feeling like you're not where you want to be, ask for help. That would be my number one suggestion.
I like that. Yeah. I call Sue Burdick. I've left Jeff her birdie messages, so I mean, just anybody. I mean, we're all sidelines and we want to help others. So thanks,
Yeah.
Nick. That's a good idea too.
Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah.
So,
Suzanne.
Suzanne, I used to be a
Oh.
nurse, retired not quite a year yet. So, how did you go from being the entrepreneur from being an employee as a nurse?
I really think that was important. And when we were growing, we were in Atlanta, and once a week we had business meetings, and then on the fourth week it would be a medical person. So I feel like I had the keys back then of how to, and I knew I wanted to be home with those kids, and I was hungry. I wanted I would have I could have done anything right then, so I'm thankful that Juice Plus was the vehicle that I found. But when people are hungry, they'll do things but I always feel like, there's always a leadership part. Maybe we don't always feel like a leader, but if we can just that 2 millimeter shift and say, I'm a leader, I can talk to this person. They're not going to hurt me. So nothing's bad going to happen. They might say no, and then I used to get my feelings hurt, and I'd be like, okay, well, whatever. And then you just keep going. It didn't really hurt that bad, but yeah, that's me. How do
Thank
you
you.
do it, Regina?
Pardon?
How are you doing it?
I'm trying to have more home events.
Oh,
More
nice.
of them.
That's great. Karen Pennington is on here, and she's my Memphis group. She has the nicest events, and it's drawing people in with food. I mean, people love to break bread together, and I just think that's really, you know, that's her secret. It's been really great for the Memphis group.
So, Suzanne, I just have a question about when you go to Australia,
Mhm.
do you do anything to promote Juice Plus there?
I joined the gym. I go water aerobics,
Oh,
and so I have to do it behind the scenes. So there's people in our lives that will say, "Don't ever talk to me about Juice Plus again." You just go behind the scenes.
right. Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Well, I think we're just getting close to the end of the half hour. Unless there's something really pressing, somebody has a question, I think I
I
want
have
to,
a question.
okay.
Hi, Suzanne. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, this is feeling vulnerable, but I'm not very good at getting tea. Or let me rephrase that. I have not been very good at getting tea, but I'd like to be more successful at that.
Yeah.
How would you coach somebody on your team on helping them be more inspiring to bring on extra tea?
Well, number one, I have an affirmation for that, Beth, because I worried about that at first too, and I've carried that affirmation. I'm great at bringing people into my team. People love my energy. People love to be around me, and they love to join my team. So that was one of the things I had to do to begin with. But then the practical part of it is, you know, getting them on Juice Plus, and then I mean, really following up with them, calling them, making sure they're happy with it. And even to begin with, to say, you know what, and Wendy Campbell's good. I don't know if this is for you or not, but this is what I found for myself and my family, and it's made such a difference for us, not only health wise, but financial wise. And I'd love to sit down with you and show you what that would look like if you'd be open to that. And drop it and let it in their court. But and then follow up with them. And we'd use Project Broadcast for my team, and so once every 2 weeks, once a month at the longest, they get education from us, from our team. So
Suzanne,
All
you
right.
started out a
Thank
second ago and you said, people really like me. And you said two or three other things. And I thought, wow, how brave she is to talk about herself like that. I didn't realize that was your affirmation. Would you,
yes,
yeah, would you repeat that affirmation for everybody that people really
yeah,
like me? There
have
was
it over
three
there.
or four things you said. It was great. You guys, you might want to write this down. Say it before you go to bed at night. Say it when you wake up in the morning. Pull the card out. What was it, Suzanne?
People love to join my team. People love my energy, and they love to be around me. And I have my card over there. People love to join my team. They love, and I'm good at the front of the room, I say, like right now. So what's comfortable with you? So I feel like people really love to join my team. Did I at first? No, but I know they do. It's all the energy. It's all about energy. Don't you think? I mean, we have a higher power. I believe it's Jesus. Other people believe it's whoever. I tap into that higher power and ask, please open doors that only you can open. And and then do your affirmations and just ask for guidance. I mean, we're not in this alone. You can ask, and it is given, right? So, Beth, just keep working on that because that is something that people will love to join your team. They love your energy. They love to be around you, and you can feel your team growing. But if you don't feel like, I mean, I'm not saying you, but any of us, if we don't feel like who's going to join me, guess what? They won't want to. So the energy shift, just 2 millimeter shift again. It makes all the difference in the world of people. They don't want to be left behind when you're confident. I feel like that's another one that we have to be is confident. Even if we don't feel it, slap your legs, showtime.
Great.
Sean and Chris did that all the time, Nikki.
Yep.
Yep.
Learned so much from those guys.
Well, Susanne, I just want to thank you so much for joining this call and being my guest tonight. And I really value your friendship. And that's another thing about this company is you develop some amazing friendships with people you would never have had a chance to meet otherwise. So that's another benefit of joining us. So I guess we'll sign off for tonight and thank you everybody for joining us on this call.
And if you all want to unmute yourselves and just shout out a word of appreciation for Susanne, give her a warm thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Awesome.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Yes.
Love you guys.
Bye-bye.
Good night,
Bye,
everybody.
Suzanne.
Amazing.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Suzanne. This was
Bye.
wonderful.
Bye.
Great.
Bye.